truth in a world of lies. You are listening to the JohnAge Project.
Trust no one. Trust no one. Trust no one.
You found it. You're here. You're headlong down the runaway train that is the AnomicAge, and I am your host, JohnAge. Happy to be back with you once again in the dark side of the AM. It's the little things, I tell you, the little things that drive me crazy. So thanks for joining us this evening. Hailing proudly from the coastal plain of the Old North State, I will be your tour guide as we take a somewhat satirical journey down the path of murder, destruction, mayhem, and the extermination of human life on this planet. A forced march into obsolescence thrust upon us by a global satanic death cult of pedophiles. Please check out AnomicAge.com if you've not already done so. It's got all the goodies. It's got everything you can ever hope to find from dear old me. It's got the iPhone app. It's got the Android app. It's got the subscribe by email link. It's got the free newsletter and so much more. It's all there, I tell you. Buy me a cup of coffee, Cash App. We got over 200 shows of great guests, and I promise, I know I've said that about a half a dozen times, but I promise we're going to have guests again soon. I couldn't even begin to tell you this, the smorgasbord of just straight up dung that it's been around here lately. So I'm not going to go there. But it's been trying times, trying days. So you know how that goes. Nevertheless, check out AnomicAge.com. Share those likes on your social media page. 5-star reviews, kind comments, lovely words, salutations, greetings. Share it at the water cooler. You know how all that stuff goes. Oh, my gracious goodness. Sakes alive. I don't know how long I'm going to be in this seat tonight. I got to tell you, folks, I'm not one to complain. I usually follow that old art of war, appear strong when you're weak and weak when you're strong. But I got to tell you, I don't know what in the world I did to my back a couple of days ago, but I tell you, man, being old, it stinks. It's not at all what it's cracked up to be. It's just not. Oh, my gracious goodness. Sakes alive. It is not. So, yeah, it's the fun stage of life where you somehow hurt yourself doing nothing. It's really bizarre. So there's that. Someone complained about me drinking water and I guess being too loud while I'm drinking water. So you know what that means. I'm going to do it even more. And please, if you don't like this show, I assure you there's some real lowbrow BS that you can find all over the interweb that's nothing at all like this. I was going to do that. I might do that for Halloween. I was thinking about doing this where I get all the most just, trying to keep this clean. All the most just mundane, stereotypical, everybody's doing it. They've all got the big funding, I guess, and they've all got the same exact studio where they have like the wooden American flag that's kind of, I guess, burned a little bit here and there with a torch. I'll put one of those up in the back. Maybe I'll get the old standby, just the Gadsden flag, just kind of like haphazardly draped in the background. I could do that. Or I guess like the more cool and hip, like the cool kids doing it, I'll have some LED lights that are kind of like odd colors, just sort of like underneath the shelves in the back. So that looks really cool and also unique. So maybe I'll do that for Halloween. I'll just do like the most stereotypical BS show of all time. And I'll come out with like a 1776 shirt. I've got to get a beard. I forgot that. I got to get a beard. And I'll get like a beard, 1776 shirt, some real stereotypical lighting in the back. And, you know, the wood American flag is the staple. I don't know how that became the staple of anyone right of Mao. These are the things you must have in your podcast to make it cool. I guess. Maybe that's how you get the big funding. You just follow every single stereotypical rule. March in line with the lemmings. Don't step out of orthodoxy or we'll give you a spanking. We won't promote your show. You won't get the Big Berkey water filter endorsement or whatever. I don't know, whatever. You won't get the Jews to back you, right? Yeah, you'll know I've got really good backing when I just about face on everything I've talked about on the show and go in the completely other direction. I start talking about how great it all is, how great everyone's doing, and how posi-core we need to be. Yeah, that's when you'll know. It's like that stupid meme. I won't say anything, but there'll be signs. Yeah, those will be the signs. My studio will look like the most stereotypical, mundane, sheeple garbage of all time. And I'll do an about face on everything, and I'll start talking about the virtues of Israel, how great Trump's doing, and how the conservative right is just doing the best job of all time. Mm-hmm. That'll be when you know, I guess, I'll be moving to a house high atop the hill. Anyway, you didn't come here for that. No. You came here for this. Bling. Yeah, that. Full disclosure, I've done a show very similar to this topic. I didn't realize I'd done a show similar to this topic. I guess like in the last 20 shows, I was really unclear. So if you want to catch that show, let's go back because someone's going to freak out if I don't tell them exactly where the show is. So you go over here to my shows, yeah. Mm-hmm. And you go over here to numero cuatro. Here we go. Yeah, if you go over here to retro reality, our nostalgic obsession. That's darn similar to what we're going to cover tonight, but it's not the same. So, muy similar, pero eso es diferente, ¿no? Yeah, definitivamente diferente. Definitivamente diferente. That's what we're trying to say. You know what I mean? Anyway, I'm kind of feeling a little pumped tonight because the problem that's been the problem is somehow not the problem tonight. So I'm pretty stoked about that. I'm just happy as Trump and Israel that los problemas son pequeños ahora. I'm pandering to the demographic de los Españoles. I made up that word. Anyway, just kidding, folks. Just kidding. Let's see if we can do this right, shall we? There we go. So the title of tonight's show is Nostalgia Bait. Shout out to my dog Daisy. She's riding shotgun with me tonight. You can't see her. She's doing a great job. I'm going to get her own camera so she can just co-host with me. Daisy is doing a great job. Anyway, he didn't come here for dog talk. Or maybe you did. Nevertheless, someone's tapping their finger and saying, they're 10 minutes in, you haven't talked about anything relevant, John. Well, I'm sure Officer Tatum's talking about something relevant, so you can talk about Israel with him if you want to. I'm sure there's a million other shows that look like me and talk like me, but they ain't quite me, don't you see? So tonight we're going to talk about nostalgia bait. I heard this term just yesterday, and I was like, sounds very similar to what I was talking about recently. Hold your ears real close to the headphones. I'm going to take a drink of water. Oh, my gracious goodness. I managed to get some water on this Staples. So sad. Anyway, back to nostalgia bait. That's exactly the ho-hum society that we seem to be living in, ladies and gentlemen. It's all nostalgia bait. That's another one that really sort of bristles me fur, don't you know? Because I've seen so many shows doing the nostalgia bait thing. And I got to say, I like it. So I'm not even hating on you. I like the nostalgia bait. But there's like 1,000,001 shows. By that, I mean other podcasts that do the nostalgia bait thing. You know, they want to wear some retro-ish gear. Their whole logo and emblems all retro, all Miami Vice, or, you know, they're all sort of falling in line with the Stranger Things nostalgia bait. I'm nostalgia bait repping right now because I'm repping this lovely Panama Jack shirt. Man, I used to rock some smooth Panama Jack gear back in the day. Man, my 80s wardrobe for elementary school was pretty swift. I'm talking about like a teal, sleeveless muscle tee Panama Jack. Man, I wish I could still rock that. Too small. Anyway, so I'm saying all that to say this. I like the nostalgia bait, so I'm not really hating on the people that are doing it. I'm just saying it's a little bit trite. But I understand. And here's where I will completely become the get off my lawn guy. So if you're not into that, then you're probably not into this show. So, you know. So the real deal, Holyfield, why there's so much nostalgia bait out there is because our current little handbasket is nothing more than a basket of creefy. That's what it is, folks. It really is. Just a big old basket of turds. So that's where our current society is. And it's sad. I mean, this could be the first generation that is just completely all around doo-doo. It might be. And a friend of mine had been talking about this ad nauseum lately. Pretty much everything after Gen X has just continued to just free fall straight down the sewer. And it's not looking up. It's not looking up at all. Like nothing good has really occurred, in my humble opinion, since like the late 80s. Nothing good. And I know somebody's going to point out the lovelies of technology. We can get tracked everywhere we go now. My toaster can communicate with the feds and tell them when I say something out of line. Yeah, you know, the technology's nice. I was explaining this to my daughter the other day. Like, the technology's cool in a way because I was talking about what long distance actually meant. We were watching some Golden Girls retrobait the other day. It's not even retrobait. I've watched the Golden Girls since they were actually on TV and just kept on watching them because they're actually good TV. But I digress. Something came up on an episode, and there was the mention of MCI and long distance. And I was explaining that's how it was back in the day. Everybody kind of gathered around the phone when you called grandma, or, you know, had to make sure it was okay with mom and dad if you called somebody long distance. And now you can just call anybody from here to Timbuktu 8 days a week and twice on Sunday, and it's pretty much free. Or at least as long as you got a phone plan, it can cover it, you know. But definitely nothing like it once was. So, I guess that could be construed as a positive. And of course, there's the technology, much like you're listening to me on right now, because you couldn't have done this in 1989. But again, I kind of don't know if that's good or bad. It's good, in a way. Gives me this lovely platform. I get to talk to people all over the world. And I want to thank all the people that listen to me all over the world, because I don't really look at the numbers, and I don't really look at the demographics and like where in the world are you very often. I try to do that like every 6 months or so, because the numbers are so screwed. It's just kind of comedy. But I was looking at them the other day. I was like, holy shnikes, there's people in Russia, and there's people in Ecuador, there's people in, you know, all these different places, and it's kind of cool. I don't care if it's like one person listening to me in Kenya. Like, thank you, one person in Kenya. That's pretty cool. If you downloaded one show of mine in Kenya, that's cool. That's more than anyone could have ever hoped to touch anyone else in 1989 from their home. You know, like, it just wasn't possible. So I guess I'll backtrack a little bit. I won't throw the baby out with the bathwater completely, because there are those good things that the technology has at least brought us. in the past 26 odd years. But most of it's just been complete creepy, just dookie, turds, dung, the brown stuff. It's been terrible. And I'm not going to sit here and pretend otherwise. Okay? I'm just not going to do it. The music has been outright atrocious and going down fast. It's exactly like the old Beatles song, and I know it wasn't really the Beatles that wrote it nor performed it nor even had anything to do with it. I'm sure it was their team of writers, performers, and musicians, and they just kind of randomly went out there and hacked them out occasionally in public. You know, that's all it is. I feel you. I know that. I feel it. Tavistock Institute, got it. Whole 9 yards. It's all bull. I know. I got it. So whoever wrote the song, Helter Skelter, coming down fast, but I'm miles above you. Yeah, you know how it goes. So I get it. And that's kind of where we're at, folks. It's all been a downhill slide. Music's been atrocious. Television shows, horrible. Movies, downright unwatchable. Just terrible stuff, man. Just terrible. There's a reason why I watch movies from the 70s and 80s. And pretty much exclusively. I will dip into the 90s a little bit, but not too much. Not too much with the music, not too much with the movies, but I'll dip into the 90s just a little bit. But there's a reason why I stay away from it, and it's because it's turds. It's because it's awful, atrocious, just downright bad. Movies, music, television shows, whatever else you want to put in that little handbasket has been nothing more than bad. Okay? Just been bad. Yeah, there's a reason I love to listen to old stuff that I've got downloaded and or recorded from 30 years ago plus. Easy. Speaking of which, I watched the great 70s. I watched two. I'll plug both of these great 70s movies. One of them was a Canadian movie called Death Dream. I think it goes by two different titles, but I watched it under the guise of a Death Dream. Amazing movie. Must watch. And then I watched another one right after that called Kiss of the Tarantula. Now that's something you can actually watch and not get disgusted by. Yeah, it's virtually no propaganda. There's no trannies. There's no gay agenda. There's no demonization of los blancos. There's no deification of los colores. It's just downright a good doggone movie. All of it. The television from that era. The movies from that era. All right, the 70s music was a little turd-tastic. Had its moments. Really picked up when the Sex Pistols and the Ramones hit the scene. But it had its moments of just arena rock turds. I feel you. It was vastly doo-doo. But the rest of it, not so bad. So, you're thinking to yourself, what does this have to do with the price of eggs, John? Because every generation, I would say after Gen X, is just hearkening back to the stuff from the 70s, 80s, and even the 60s. It's weird. If you go out, and I would challenge anyone to do this. People in the comments, do this. Next time you go to the store, el supermercado, and you're at the checkout line, hopefully you're not going to the automatic checkout, because that just is dumb. As much as I do hate people, I do still like to interact with those humans a little bit. And I still want to keep those people employed just a little bit longer. I would say in the next 5-10 years, everybody's going to be unemployed. All the people at the store, all the people doing virtually anything except trade jobs, all the musicians, all the stars in movie, television, these doofus, whatever they're basically like straight to video releases, whatever they're putting out on the streaming platform, streaming live on Hulu, streaming live on Amazon. Yeah. Streaming live is straight to video. That's doo-doo, dumb. Okay, but whatever they are, they're all going to be swept under and into the dustbin of history. I'd say 5-10 years tops. But I digress. I challenge you all to go to the checkout line of whatever store you happen to go to. And just look at the magazines, las revistas. Look at them. And see what you see. Because here's the commonality that you will see. Virtually everything on every cover of every magazine has not got a thing in the world to do with our current reality. About the only exception to that rule would be Taylor Swift. I know that. Just saying it makes me want to wince. But whatever. That would be about the only exception. Because here's what you're going to see. You're going to see things from the 70s, 80s, and 60s. No joke, folks. You're going to see like Marilyn Monroe. You're going to see the Beatles. You're going to see Jaws. You're going to see CCR. You're going to see Rolling Stones. You're going to see all these old movies, Exorcist, all these old references, all this old stuff. And there's a reason why, okay? Because that stuff sells, and everything from at least the last 20 years has been just complete garbage. I'd go fully to 26, 25. I mean, I hated the 90s music more than anything, but it was better than this. It was better than the just completely sheer no talent. We're not even obfuscating the fact that this is just CIA programming anymore. You know, it's just dreadful. I don't even know where they dredge up these gutter whore big fat pieces of trash. And they, I guess, give them a publicist, all kinds of marketing, obviously a band, a choreographer, a stylist, and they somehow turn them into something like revoltingly palatable by the masses that are just that brain dead, vaping away and CBDing and weeding away and microdosing away their stupid little lives into just triviality. So if you're on that plane, if you're on that tip, man, then I guess you don't find this stuff as completely mind-numbingly vomit-inducing as me, but that's the way it seems to me, los estudiantes. And that's indeed why you have nostalgia bait. That's why you have all the podcasts. That's why you have all the shows. That's why you have all the movies. That's why there's all the remakes. Oh, it's a new version of the Wonder Years, except it's all black. Yeah, that would be akin to doing a remake of Sanford and Son and making it all white. That's stupid, idiotic, moronic, and just downright dumb. But don't worry, they've already done it, okay? No, they haven't done the white version of Sanford and Son because they can't do that with Los Blancos. No, not the horrible oppressors of all humanity. Oh, the humanity of it. Oh. Get your ears right up to the mic. Excuse me, right up to the headphones. I'm about to drink some water. Anyway, so there's that. But that's the deal, folks. That's the reason why. Because everything from the last 25 years is head and shoulders, stem to stern, garbage. There you go. It's like that old J Church song, in like 20 years, people will be nostalgic for nothing. Because who in their right mind would be nostalgic for the 2020s? Ooh, we're nostalgia for 2024. Ooh, we have so much nostalgia for 2003. It was such a good year. Please. It's all been just a wash. Complete boulder dash. But don't worry. That's the absolute fact. It's nostalgia bait. Everywhere you turn. People are nostalgic, for a simpler time, for a better time. Because for gracious goodness sakes alive, things were better, folks. Call me to get off my lawn. I don't care. I'm not going to lie to you. It was 1,000% better in the 80s. Undoubtedly. You can't even point to anything that wasn't better. Gas, cheaper. Food, not carcinogenic completely. Television, movies, radio. Whoa. Not woke poo-poo? Yeah. It was all better, folks. Sorry. Just was. All better. And here's another reason why the vast majority of the public is very nostalgic, and that's why the nostalgia bait works. They're nostalgic because the times were indeed better. And here's another quite obvious one, is it's because people know what they had then. And I think people are just barely holding on for dear life right now. People do not know what's coming for sure. Well, they should, because they should have seen Terminator and Brave New World and 1984 and, those lovely movies like The Andromeda Strain, Logan's Run, Silent Running, all those movies and books, if you got the time, would tell you what's coming. But I do believe to a certain degree, people do have a fear of what's to come. And they look back longingly with nostalgia to those simpler times. If you want to go boomers, they're going to look back to the 50s. But most of us don't, in Gen X, surely don't have that lens. So we look back longingly to the 70s and 80s. Okay? Excuse me for the cough there. But one of the other reasons is just straight fear. We don't know what's coming. Again, you should. And at least we knew what we had during that time. Because here's another big scary thing. And I'm not here pumping fear porn. I'm just telling you what you already know. I don't even call it scary. It's just, it's a Brave New World. It's a great song by the Four Skins, Brave New World. Whatever happened to that land of glory? Remember, the future's going to be a completely different story. But people knew what they were getting then, and now people, I don't think, really know. And here's the shoe that hasn't dropped yet. They don't know how bad it's actually going to get. Because the AI that you're seeing now is just the tip of the iceberg. This is old tech. Because all the tech that you're experiencing is at least 50 years behind. So they've got stuff way better than what you're seeing. But what you're seeing now, here's a little preview in case you missed it. What you're seeing now, you have no clue what is real nor false anymore. I saw something of the Charlie Kirk variety the other day, and I'd already seen this video when the operation went live. It was some girl that was doing the Duper's Delight. She was kind of half grinning while she was giving this interview. And she was saying that Charlie got hit in the chest and blood went everywhere from his chest. Okay? So she's saying that. And then you had like the usual suspects going, what is she talking about? He got hit in the neck and blah, blah, blah. Here's the deal, folks. Did he get hit in the neck? Who the bleep knows? Who the bleep really knows? Because we live in a society of such great AI now, I wouldn't swear to anything. I wouldn't swear to anything. I told my wife this the other day. I am so glad that we are married, that I met you, and all this like long, long ago. Because I would not want to be single now for anything on the planet. Ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls, those of you who still identify as human, newsflash for you. If you're in that realm right now, you have no earthly idea what you're getting into. I mean, there's people stapling stuff off, cutting stuff on. Cutting stuff off, excuse me. There's people online that have taken catfishing to like the 3D chess that everybody thinks Trump is playing. Because there's people posting fake images, fake video, fake audio. You have no earthly idea if the person you're talking to is real, imaginary, male, female, Jabba the Hutt, alien, Bigfoot, the reincarnation or living instance of Elvis. You have no clue, folks. So back to that Charlie Kirk thing. We have no clue if that girl was the only girl telling the truth or not. Because the footage that we've all seen is on par with the Zapruder film. It's on par with the Patterson-Gimlin Bigfoot footage from the late 60s, early 70s, whatever that came out. I can't recall. It's on par with some grainy UFO footage. So we're living in a time where no one knows what is real anymore. Reality is all subjective at this point in the game. It used to be, remember the old Rodney King? That was one of the first ops of the 90s. That was like the George Floyd of his day, the Rodney King footage. Oh, the poor Rodney King, he's getting beaten by the police officers. Was he? At that point in the game, seeing the footage, seeing the image, that was, the coup de grace. That was proof positive. Ooh, we got some oppression going on, baby. We found the shooter. Look, here's the footage. Here's the image. Now you can kiss all that goodbye, folks. And this should be a little bit concerning to everybody, because whoever you are, whether you're a personality, whether you're an influencer, or whether you're just Jim, Bob, Greg, Sarah, Patty at the water cooler at the job, folks, it really doesn't matter. Because we live in a day and age now that whether you said it or didn't say it is kind of inconsequential. Because we live in an age where the technology can make you say it. There can be footage right now of me saying, I love men, and just, flamboyantly dancing at some gay parade. Okay? I can guarantee you that ain't me. But I can also guarantee you that that footage can be made and put online in a matter of seconds. Okay? They could have Rodney King popping up in the infamous Rodney King footage and just beating the stuffing out of the policia. Okay? They could have George Floyd's ghost pop out of his body, astral project over into George Washington crossing the Delaware. That's how good the stuff is. And most people would say, oh, that's legitimate, that's real. So it really transcends the Ministry of Truth in 1984, where facts were just completely destroyed. Now facts are bent, changed, and completely destroyed. So that is indeed, folks, why people are doing this nostalgia bait. That's why people are indeed nostalgic. And who wouldn't be? Who in their right mind wants to live in 2025? I can't think of anybody. I'll paraphrase and I'll say the great Big Reed over there in Philadelphia. He's on Instagram. He don't know me, I'll never know him, but he does some good work. And one of the things that he says quite often is, tomorrow came yesterday. It did. By that I mean, if you're still worried about tomorrow, probably worry about it sooner, because tomorrow's already here, folks. We're living in 1984. We're living in Andromeda Strain. We're living in Brave New World. We're living in Logan's Run. We're living in Silent Running. That's all reality now. Everything from every science fiction movie, dystopian novel, or what have you, that you ever read is our current reality. There's a great film, and it's another 70s film. I believe it was a TV movie. You should be able to still find it on YouTube. I watched it about 10 years ago. But it was called The Last Child. Great movie, and I would submit to you, like all the others that I just ran down for you, that is now reality too. I won't spoil it for you, but the crux of The Last Child was indeed that procreation was now a licensed event, standardized, codified, and subsidized by the state. So you couldn't just go around copulating and procreating. Nay, nay, says the nanny state. And a couple indeed did so, and they had the proverbial last child. They were on the run from the authorities. That's about all I'll reveal for you. I muted it for a moment so people wouldn't cry. He's drinking water again, and he's smacking close to the microphone. Please, folks, please. There's a safe space with your name on it. It's just not here, not in the AnomicAge. Here in the AnomicAge, we actually propagate truth in a world of lies. We don't pander to the simpering fools. Another show, go find it. It's not here. Anyway, I digress. Yeah, I was thinking of another really good movie. I'm sorry, it's not a movie. It's a short story. I believe it's called The Machine Shuts Down. Short story, well worth reading. You can find it on audiobook as well if you're not into reading. I can understand it. I mean, who the bleep has the time to wipe your nose, let alone do any actual reading? And that's another element of the, what's it called again? Nostalgia bait. That's why people are so nostalgic. Because our current reality is just a struggle for mere survival, folks. That's indeed what it is. I would say a good analogy of our current society is just treading water. Treading water. That's really what you're doing. And here, I'll nostalgia bait you one more because there's a great episode, might be my favorite episode of Magnum P.I. And when I say Magnum P.I., please do not think I'm talking about this remake, nostalgia bait dookie. No, no, no. The real deal Holyfield, Magnum P.I., late 70s, early 80s, that's Magnum P.I. Yeah, that one. But the best episode, maybe one of the best anyway, my personal favorite, is Magnum went out there on his surf ski, and he was doing I think it was the 4th of July even. He was out there on his surf ski, 4th of July. He apparently didn't tell anybody. Excuse me, coughing. But he managed to capsize in the surf ski. He's well beyond shore break. He can't just swim back into shore. And he's out there treading water. And it flashes back to him and his dad. And the last day he saw his dad alive. And he was out there treading water as a kid. And he just keeps flashing back to Vietnam and the present and the past. And long story short, a great, great episode. But I would definitely submit to you very much reminiscent of our current reality. People just treading water. Who the bleep has got time for hobbies? That used to always crack me up. If you've ever done those icebreaker things, you know, you might go to a class or a small group or a new group of people. Yeah, like people actually have time to hang out with others and do anything remotely fun. What a joke. But if you did, one of the things that people are always like, well, what are your hobbies? And I was like, hobbies? My hobbies are trying to not be bankrupt. My hobbies are trying to still eat. My hobbies are having gas in the tank. My hobbies are the electricity's still on. Those are the hobbies for most of America right now. My hobbies are going to the grocery store and leaving and not spending $30 on 2 things. Today I spent $20 on 2 things. It's just comedy. But don't worry, the economy's booming, John. You must be delusional. You must not be America first. Are you just one of them communists? No, folks. I assure you, I'm the farthest thing from communist you could possibly imagine. I'm the most far-right person that's probably ever existed, because I won't even begin to tell you the things that I think should be going on if we had a real America First president. I won't even begin to say those things, because I assure you I'd get visits and wouldn't be seen again. Neither here nor there. That's the current state of most of our realities right now. If that's not your reality, God bless you. I am so glad you're doing better than me and everyone I know, because everyone I know is living hand to mouth, treading water with like a nose above the wave, coughing up salt water and just trying to just make it for a couple more minutes. That's kind of it. As the great Gerald Celente has often said, and I'll repeat once again on this show, if you're looking for how the economy is doing, don't look at Wall Street, look at Main Street. You know, and Main Street ain't doing so hot. Gas is still real expensive. The stores are still vastly closed. No one actually has money to go to restaurants or go to, dare I say, hobbies, whatever the bleep that even is. I've already told you what my hobbies are. If you got some good hobbies, just let me know. I mean, I'm all ears for good hobbies. I know someone's going to hate me for this, but I'm actually, I'd say this much, un poco emocionado. A little excited for the NBA and basketball season starting. I know it's a ruse because I know it's all rigged. I know. I've read the Brian Toohey book, The Fix Is In. I got you. It's all rigged. I know. I know it's all bread and circuses. I know it's all a sham. It's all orchestrated. I got you. But this little tiny little fragment of my soul still does enjoy basketball, even though it's not real anymore. You know, I still actually enjoy shooting basketball. I wish I could play basketball still. My knees are pretty shot, so I'd say my ankles are absolutely shot. But thanks, skateboarding. I love these. I think it's everyone after Kobe Bryant was like, whatever his deal was, thank you basketball or love letter to basketball or some BS. Anyway, I've seen like the skateboarding version of that. It's like, thank you skateboarding for all that you've given me. Like, thanks skateboarding for like 2 bad ankles and a bad knee. Like, oh, thanks for my wrists not functioning like they should. Oh boy. I know I'm a little dark side of the force, folks. Forgive me if that's too dark for you. Oh, my gracious goodness sakes alive. Probably too dark for a lot of people, but that's okay. Halloween's on the horizon. I'm pretty excited about that. My goal for this month was actually get some guests on and actually delve into some occult and esoteric and, dare I say, woo topics. And I just might do that. We'll see how it goes. We'll just see, folks. I did a great show. I think it was last year. I mean, last year was such a blur of garbage. I believe it was last year. I did a great show. It was a Halloween show. We just talked the paranormal, and ghosts and goblins and all things that go bump in the night. So I'd love to do that again, but I'm really going to shift the sway of this show much more in that direction. So I might not do that so much in October and just roll with it into November and December. By far and away, December, even into the New Year's, my least favorite time of the whole stinking year. The only saving grace for December is that it's not so cold here in North Carolina. Thank the Lord. Thank God Almighty. Because it's downright lovely out there in the coastal plain this evening. It's nice. Got a sweatshirt on earlier. Had a little toboggan on. Or a beanie for those of you in El Norte. It was lovely. Just lovely. So at least we get, maybe 2 months tops of bearable weather here in the eastern side of NC. Anyway, I think you get what I'm putting down. That's the nostalgia trip, folks. That's why everybody's in a nostalgia state of mind. They're afraid of what's coming. They look longingly back at the past, and they just don't want to live in this current handbasket of dung anymore. And I can't think of any reason why you would. All right, we got a couple minutes here. Let's go through some news segments because we got some news for you. It ain't good news, so if you're looking for some good news, you might want to look somewhere else because I just delivered the real news, the realness, the realness, indeed. So we're going to deliver some good news. No, I'm just kidding. We're going to deliver the real news, and it's not going to be the bought and paid for, Trump is my idol, bow to Trump, bow to my God. No, we don't idol worship on this show. Not for the right and not for the left. We just give you the truth. The propagating truth in a world of lies, unabridged, unobfuscated, unsanitized for your protection version of reality. And I don't even have the wherewithal to give you the absurd death toll in North Carolina from people in Charlotte killing each other. That seems to be the new thing. I guess Charlotte's trying to take over from, I guess, maybe Atlanta. They'll never catch Memphis. Maybe they're trying to catch up with these other predominantly black cities run by commie fruit bats and you know what I'm saying. A lot of stuff. Maybe so. I don't know. The only good news in NC is it looks like they've somewhat tentatively approved a new congressional seat for the Republicans. I mean, I don't really know that matters because the Republicans are just like diet commies, especially in North Carolina. I mean, North Carolina is a steaming pile, folks. Whew. I don't think we could win the state back completely red if they were paying people. I really don't. I'm sure we will somehow reelect another commie fruit bat governor. That's kind of just a done deal. They'll probably put the previous governor back in the congressional seat. That'll be great. I mean, that's just how dumb North Carolina is, I guess. I mean, it's just Whew, whole lot of stupid. There's a whole lot of stupid. All right, let's get into the news, shall we? Because we got all kinds of news to get into. Managed to spill the water again. Maybe those people got a point. I'm not worried about the smacking, man. I don't want water all over my studio. Anyway, let's get it, because we got to talk about dear old Trump daddy. Let's see what we can hear from Trump, baby. This is going to be a good one. I'll just let it play, and we'll get some commentary. Here we go, Mr. DJT. Where are thee? Yeah, there's old DJT. Here we go. Let's hit the Hazen host.
Question is, what do you have to say to U.S. farmers who feel that the deal is benefiting Argentina more than it is them, as they are
Argentina's fighting for its life, young lady. You don't know anything about it. They're fighting for their life. Nothing's benefiting Argentina. They're fighting for their life. You understand what that means? They have no money. They have no anything. They're fighting so hard to survive. If I can help them survive in a free world, I happen to like the president of Argentina. I think he's trying to do the best he can. But don't make it sound like they're doing great. They are dying. All right? They're dying.
What do you mean by being?
They're dying. So here's the deal, in case you missed all that. So what old DJT is talking about is he is saying that we are now going to start buying beef from Argentina to help the Argentinians. Here's the funny on that. That's not so funny. The funny on that that's not so funny is that the American farmers are going bankrupt, belly up, and otherwise losing everything, just like he's saying the Argentinians are. Yeah, exactly. So here's the funny, though, because instead of being America first, it looks like we're Argentina first. I mean, please don't get it twisted. We are Israel first. My goodness gracious sakes alive. There's no way any other country could possibly come close to how Israel first we are. Well, I'd say we are Israel first, then we're for sure the Ukraine first, and now it looks like we're Argentina first, because we're now apparently going to start importing, aka buying beef from Argentina. Meanwhile, urinating, defecating, and just slapping them around with the brown stuff to the American farmers that are actually going belly up. You know, the beef producing cattle ranchers all across los Estados Unidos. You know those folks? Yeah. You know, here's a novel idea, DJT. Why don't we actually support the American farmers? Instead of urinating in the wind and giving subsidies, bailouts, and just downright boatloads of cash to all these other countries, why don't we just help the American farmers? Like the actual factual Americans. The people that were born here, multiple generations here. Yeah, they're not illegal. They're not 501c3. They're not the visa program. They're nothing but the actual American farmers. Why don't we actually help them? I'm a wild idea. Instead of Argentina? Is that crazy? It must be. Must be crazy. But wait, there's more. I don't even know how to pronounce this, and I really don't care. I'm just going to let it play. Just please, Lord, give us strength in this time of suffering. Let's go.
Would you like to come to light?
Yeah, if you want. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you all. Thank you.
Yeah, round of applause.
Mr. President, the meeting with Vladimir Putin is canceled or put on hold. Do you know what happened?
All right, we're going to pause that because that's going to interrupt our next clip. All right, so if I mispronounce this, good. I believe it's called a Diwali. A Diwali. So apparently this is some lovely Indian ritual. A pagan ritual? Yeah, it's a pagan ritual, a Diwali. It's going on there in the Oval Office? I don't know what to say here. It's just too beyond the pale. So we got a Diwali there going down in the office of the President of the United States. I don't know why. Why? Why would this be occurring? Why? Why are we throwing a Diwali in the president's office? And then we got this cat like, yo, DJT, you want to come up and light this thing off? Okay. Sounds good. Let me light this thing off. Oh. What? It just blows my mind, folks. It really does. So, again, call me crazy. I'm not. We're a Christian nation. You know, Supreme Court even ruled on this like over 100 years ago. We're a Christian nation, folks. Yeah, it's true. Look it up. And we have, allegedly, a Christian president. I don't know how many times, at least twice, I've heard all over social media, I don't know if I'm going to make it to heaven. I don't know if I got what I meant. All this BS of him making it to heaven. Like he's somehow going to barter or like prove his way into heaven by his deeds. Again, the most unchristian thing I've ever heard. But sure. And now we give billions and billions of dollars to another non-Christian nation, Israel, so that they can murder Palestinians. And now we are holding a pagan ritual, the Indian Diwali, in the president's office. And he's lighting up the candles. I just want to make sure you're picking up what I'm putting down here, because this is not edited. This is, allegedly, this is real footage, best I can tell. But wait, there's more, because here's where he sits down, because you heard a little bit of that in the previous clip. You heard like the last few little bits where the press secretary was asking DJT about him canceling his meeting with Putin. And then he sits down in the chair, and then I'm going to pick it up right here with this audio. Let's hit it.
I don't want to have a wasted meeting. I don't want to have a waste of time, so I'll see what happens. But we did all of these great deals, great peace deals. They're all peace deals. They're agreements, solid agreements, every one of them. But this one, and I said, go to the line of battle, the battlefield lines, and you pull back and you go home, and everybody take some time off, because you got two countries that are killing each other. You got two countries that are losing 5,000 to 7,000 soldiers a week. So we'll see what happens. It's we haven't made a determination.
You heard right. Yeah, you heard right on that one. That was DJT saying it really wasn't worth his time to meet again with Putin. And then he mentions these great peace deals that have been brokered. People, are you feeling me on this? Because unless you live under a rock, you understand and appreciate that the supposed peace deal in the Middle East was a lie, a con, a scan, a hustle, a dodge. Not real. Okay? The peace deal in the Middle East didn't even last 12 hours before Israel wasn't bombing people again. Just bombing the living urine out of Lebanon. Coincidentally, where most of the Christians were in Lebanon. And then they're just right back to it. Just bombing the living dog squeeze out of these people again. Didn't even last 12 hours, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Did not even last 12 hours. So here's the deal. In order for a peace deal to be real, people actually have to follow the peace deal. Okay? That calculate and track with everybody? Here's the thing. I can tell people that I went and bought a Lamborghini. Okay? I can tell people I went and bought a Lamborghini. Here's the paperwork. But the proof is in the pudding. If I come to my house and leave my house in a Toyota, then the obvious purchase of that Lamborghini is not valid. It is not real. All right? So I can put on an Atlanta Braves uniform, but unless I'm on the Atlanta Braves roster, I'm not really a Braves player. See how that works? It's not real. So they supposedly had this peace deal. All the right-wing media were just, ooh, Trump did such a good job. It's butt-kiss, folks. It's not real, okay? Israel couldn't even stand still for 12 hours to keep from killing people. They had to get right back to killing. So it's bull butter, folks. It's bull butter and lies. So Trump can't be bothered to meet with Putin. But check this, because I know somebody's going, I love Trump. He's such a good guy. He's the best president we've ever had. He can't be bothered to meet with Pooty Poots. But he can meet with Bill Gates 4 times. He can meet with BB. I do believe it's been 5 tiempos. 5 tiempos. Okay? He's meeting with these other cast of boobs. Pardon me. It's like if the Bozo Show did a reunion tour. You got Zucky Zuck the Cuck up there from Facebook. Yeah, he's Captain. Take down your account, censor everything, don't let any truth come out. We got Captain Pink Sweater down there at the bottom. You know, Mr. Eugenics, Mr. I want to kill you. I'm buying up the farmland. I'm weaponizing mosquitoes and ticks. Yeah, Billy Bill Gates. That third generation at least eugenicist. And then we got the Pfizer CEO. It wasn't enough that we had Operation Warp Speed. It wasn't enough that we still got DJT singing the praises of this travesty, of this Holocaust. We're now going to still keep funding this Pfizer scumbag. This guy that should be in prison at the very least. Come on. But wait, there's more. There's not, actually. There is more, because I think I'm going to close every show from now on with this. Can we close every show with this? Hey! Hey! Yeah. Hey! Woo! Hi. Oh, yeah. Yeah. And I know AJ and I guess the cast of thousands, Officer Tatum, everybody else is saying, don't you dare just keep talking about Israel. Why are you talking about Israel? Because of this, you morons. Because of this. If you don't think we're a conquered nation, we wouldn't be watching this. Take it away. Hey, you want to hear some Sweet Home Jerusalem? It's like everything Saturday Night Live wishes it could be. Yeah, turn it up, man. Turn it up. We just had the anniversary of the crash that killed virtually all of Leonard Skinner, except like 4 people. Those people are rolling in their graves as if they were on a barbecue spit right now. That these pieces of flotsam and jetsam have turned Sweet Home Alabama into this nauseating crime. But we're not a conquered nation, and what we really need to do is stop focusing on that greatest ally across the sea and focus on all the other problems, because they don't sort of all stem from our greatest ally, do they? I'm sorry, I need to shut these people down. I can't talk over this lunacy. I know I had the volume up too high. I'm sure no one could hear my words, even though I was talking loudly into the mic. I guarantee I take a drink of water, people are going to be crying. I can hear you swallowing. My gracious. You know what I need? I need a little bit more of... Hey! Yeah. I know we did a whole show on how you probably should judge a book by its cover. I'm sorry, but I mean, you really should start judging books by their covers. You really need to. 2025, I'd say you're pretty much dead to right 99.999% of the time if you're judging a book by its cover. I'm just telling you, straight up, man. You might be wrong maybe 0.1% of the time, but I mean, vast majority of the time, come on. Don't try to BS me into, oh, don't judge a book by its cover. Don't look at this and not see just like sheer evil. No, don't look at that and just think, man, there's something wrong with this picture. You know what I'm saying? Don't look at that. Yeah. Don't look at the blue-haired, bull ring wearing, obese goblin zombies and think, you know, those people are probably not my friends. Don't look at the hordes of Somalis in Minnesota and think, you know what? Something in my discernment, in my soul says those people probably want my head on a stake. Yeah. I mean, likewise, don't look at the blue blood Republicans, the people that have the wooden American flag in the background, and think that those people are probably just mainline Fox News types. Okay? I hate to say it, but most stereotypes come from reality. Not all. So don't, oh my God, you said it. Yeah, I'm saying not all, but, you know, if it looks like a duck, quacks like a duck, it's got, you know, webbed feet and feathers, I'm going with a duck. Sorry, I'm not going to, that's actually a unicorn, John. How dare you say that that's a duck? It's a duck. Yeah, look at the webbed feet. See, it's got a bill, it's got feathers. It looks exactly like this picture of a duck. Look, it's identical. I don't believe you, John. I believe that is a conservative who just loves you and wants to worship our greatest ally. Just accept the love that they have for you. Man. It's the weird thing, folks. It's like the Republicans and the conservatives have somehow turned into the coexist party. You know what I mean? They've somehow turned into the bumper sticker. They really have. They've become the bumper sticker. And they are now going, you know, we really just need to coexist. We all need to just get along. They're our greatest ally. We just need more love and support for these people that are, they just don't quite understand. You know, like that's the shtick from the like blue blood type. They just don't quite understand. We just need to better educate the people on the left because, you know, while they're bashing people's heads in with rocks and while they're gesturing as if they've been shot by, someone to mimic Charlie Kirk's death, while they're inviting drag queens to elementary schools, the real problem is they just don't really understand, you see. They don't understand that they're just wrong. That's the problem. They just don't get it. That's the real deal, man. No Nintendo. That's the problem. Anyway, I've talked way more than I thought I was going to talk. My back's killing me. I can't even hardly move on one side of my body. Maybe I'm having a stroke. I don't know. At least I know it's not a Pfizer stroke because I wasn't dumb enough to get the vaccine. That's another. We need to forgive these people that wanted to put us in camps. We need to forgive those people that were so stupid they took the vaccine. We just need to give them more love. Maybe we can give them some of the money that we're giving the Ukraine and Israel and Argentina, I guess. Maybe that's it. Maybe we just need to give these people the troglodyte, room temperature eye, those people, they just need more money, I guess. That's the problem. Just need more funding. Anyway, I'm going to shut up because I'm just kind of going off the rails here at the end. Thanks for joining us. As always, thank you so much if you're listening to the show. And if you made it to this end juncture, thank you ever so much for being with me. I'll be with you on Thursday, God willing, 11:30 to 12:30. And I will once again take you into the dark side of the AM. Thanks a lot, folks. Be safe out there. You can't do everything, but you can do something. Please try to get out there, do your part, and make a difference. I'll be seeing you sooner than later in the Anomic Age.
Thank you for listening to the AnomicAge, a JohnAge project. For past shows, further info, and to comment, go to AnomicAge.com. That's AnomicAge.com. Till next time, thank you for listening to the AnomicAge.